question 11 looks pretty horrendous, and we're asked to find as a surd the roots. So we're not expecting to be able to factorise this one nicely. So let's see how we go. Part B is hence, that's use my answer, so that's going to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to deal with this bit first. So I'm going to expand this. So I'm going to have x squared. Then from these two terms, I'm going to have minus 4x plus an x. So it's going to be minus 3x. And these two terms are going to give me negative 4. Now, you've got to be really careful with this bit. So I'm going to expand this, but I'm going to encase it all in a bracket, similar to what I've done here. Similarly. Getting a bit confused there. So x squared, I'm going to have minus 4x and plus 4. And if you're wondering how I did that, then you really are watching the wrong video. Okay, so I multiply this bracket by 2. You can see only 2 is affecting this bracket. Some people, for some reason, times this one by 2. That doesn't make any sense. So 2x squared minus 6x minus 8. And I'm going to go and do this here. And if I didn't put this in a bracket, this is where people go wrong, because we're subtracting the product of this, take away all of this. So if you don't put the brackets, you often mess up these negatives. So I'm going to be taking away an x squared. I'm taking away a negative 4x, which means I'm going to be plusing 4x. I'm taking away a positive 4, so I'm going to be taking away 4. So let's tidy this up. So I've got an x squared, collect these terms here. I've got a negative 2x and a minus 12. Okay, and I'm not going to go ahead and bother to factorise it in this form because it says as a surd, so it's never going to happen. I'm going to factorise it using completing the square. So I halve this coefficient, squared. I take away that coefficient, squared, and then I just chuck this bit on. You can watch loads of other videos of mine on how to actually complete the square and why we actually do this and why it's called complete the square. But for this video, we're just going to assume that you're an expert at it. Let's tidy this up. So that's going to be 1 minus 1 minus 12 is minus 13. And we can say x minus 1 all squared is equal to 13. Square root that, so I get x minus 1 is the positive and negative value of the square root of 13, and x is equal to 1 plus or minus root 13. Okay, now I don't know what the square root of 13 is, but I can still make a sketch of this. So I know 3 squared is 9, and I know 4 squared is 16, so it's got to be somewhere in the middle of 3 and 4. And if I do 1 take away somewhere in the middle of 3 and 4, I'm going to get a negative value. That's what I'm trying to say. And if I do 1 plus something, which is in between 3 and 4, I'm going to get a positive value. So I can quite happily say that this value here is 1 plus root 13. I might as well put it in as a coordinate. This is this value here. And this one here would be 1 minus root 13, comma 0. Okay, so we're looking where it's greater than 0. Sorry, I just realised I put equals there. Oh, no, because it was equals in the question. I do apologise. So in part B, it's now changed where it's greater than 0. So what we're looking for are these values here. When we put it equal to 0, we find these roots. And if we're looking for where the function is more than 0, we're looking for above this line. So here, these y values here, these function of x values here, are bigger than 0. Okay, so that happens when x is greater than 1 plus square root of 13, and when x is less than 1 minus the square root of 13.